The great equalizer. Looking back on the passing of time is a natural part of one's human existence, as we are often ruminating over the past or fixated on the future. But as the collective and individual consciousness shifts into a new age, there is an urgency to pay close attention to the present.
I'm just literally on the verge of like a mental breakdown.
Because I wanna feel again. Oh, God,
I feel numb. I feel like I'm numbing myself out from everything, from feeling overwhelmed.
Does anybody know what it's like to be tired? Trying to hold your head up?
With an undertone of frustration, angst, and confusion, many individuals have been feeling the effects of change at a core level, and as most commonly manifested as a disdain for current earthly or societal circumstances. It's this severance from an era dominated by the ego, showing itself in hypermasculine energy, acquisition, illusions, and individualism that is actually taking place on a larger scale. We are living in the era of the great equalizer, wherein all things that have been disproportionate in our ways of thinking and being is drastically balancing the scales.
Here's why the world is not ending, but for some people it will be. People who have created their lives around manipulation, greed, deception, ego, pride, those people's worlds will be crumbling because we are entering into an age of transparency, authenticity, truth, and deception will not be able to survive in this new earth.
In this video, we'll be looking at how to play the game of life and why embracing duality and being present should be prioritized in every person's life. This From the board game Life, from the 90s to The Sims, and even games like Grand Theft Auto, we at a lower consciousness level have always been fascinated with imitating life and the ability to make conscious choices to achieve desired outcomes. But as our consciousness continues to evolve, many of us have come to the realization that it is those simulations that are the truth of our current reality. That we are creating our life experience through our thoughts, and these thoughts manifesting into our reality.
That's the main thing people are controlled by. Thoughts, their perception of themselves. They're slowed down by their perception of themselves. If you're taught you can't do anything, you won't do anything. I was taught I could do everything.
And furthermore, that we are souls having a manifested physical experience. Some of us as lions, rocks, blades of grass, and for us, humans, with a consciousness that has far more control over our reality than we ever realized.
In this physical reality, you never change the world you presently occupy. Rather, you change yourself, and that steers you toward a version of Earth that already exists, that is more reflective of what you know in your body that you already prefer. Therefore, it's not language that navigated you towards a simultaneous reality that you prefer, it's your state of being, the vibrational frequency you are currently emitting that moves you to the new lifeline, so to speak.
So if this reality is just the games we've played, what is the purpose of the game? And how does one get to the next level? In this reality, we're playing a game of cycles. The rules are simple. Our lives are manifestations of cycles. These cycles exist in an effort to rebalance each individual energy into a state of wholeness, and therefore balancing the collective, that which we are all a part of. But in order to recognize the cycles attached to our lives, we must first live them. While some cycles are manifestations of generational trauma and limiting belief systems existing in current structures, there are also cycles embedded in our individual soul core frequency, passed through us from past and even future timelines of our very existence. To master these cycles is to truly know yourself, to understand why your current soul chose your present circumstances, and how to find the clues you've left yourself to find your way back to your purest form. One of the most common mistakes in this game is the lack of acknowledgement of the unspoken rule of duality. Where there is light, there will always be darkness. And for every so-called positive experience, there is an equally negative counterpart. The experience of mental and emotional dissonance, where we struggle to integrate acceptance and a sense of flow with issues we can't emotionally or morally comprehend, prevents many from evolving through past trauma and teachable experiences.
Okay, so there's two massive takeaways here. One, your emotion dictates your reality. There's no big right or wrong tattooed in the sky. For instance, one person hearing about the death of a family member may break down in tears, while another thinks fondly of the time spent together. Each reaction causes an equal action thereafter, which is just plainly a law of physics.
So what does this mean? This means that not every experience we have will be labeled positive. However, that in no way negates the necessity of the experience in helping you achieve the overall goal, to break the cycle and move on to the next level of your life. Or in other words, your next level of consciousness. In every game, there are tools and strategies one can use to excel at each level. And it is solely up to us, and hopefully some attentive ancestors, to learn and master these skills. And with the closing of each cycle, like levels of a game, each of us gets closer and closer to our elusive finish line.